This is for the players.
I'm Ryan Betson.
I'm Max Cooper.
And this is For the Players, the PopCulturists PlayStation podcast. Over 40 years of playing PlayStation and 10 plus years in that games media combined. I'd like to thank you for joining us in this PlayStation conversation.
This PlayStation conversation happens every Monday morning at 8 a.m. on podcast services, including Spotify, 9 a.m. on those YouTubes. If you want to join that PlayStation conversation, head on over to our Facebook, our Discord, Twitter, Instagram, all the links, description below.
If you want to join the PlayStation conversation as it happens, head over to twitch.tv/thepopculturist and you can watch us record the show live. It used to be behind a Patreon paywall, but no time for that, my friend. Patreon paywalls are bum. So we got rid of that shit. But for some reason, if you did want to be like, you know what, that is a quality, C plus, maybe a low B grade show, I want to give them my dollars, you can put it in at patreon.com/popculturist. The tier's up to you. There's no reward. It's just whether you want to or not. And if you want to support us in a once-off fashion, popculturist.com/shop, buy shirts and other sort of shit with our logos on it. As we mentioned, we are on Twitch streaming this show, but we do also play games here on a Thursday evening, 8 p.m, as well as recording our other podcasts, The Young and The Wrestlers. Be sure to go like this show, that show, podcast services, 5-star rating and all that garbage. Paul James is in the chat and he says, hey, we'll get something out of the way.
We're going to start with this.
Boy, did I get fucking dumped on Twitter. I got wrecked. So, those that may have been aware, because you would have seen the tweet before I deleted it, there was a PlayStation account that wasn't PlayStation, that was spelt wrong, that was announced like, hey, here's the PlayStation meeting. It's happening on this day at this time. And I was like, so I'd been up for about an hour at this point. I got woken up by my kid going, duck game. So I'm like, all right. So we got up, played duck game. Then we played some Patapon for a little while, which we'll get to later. I tried it with the drum set, took a photo of that, put it on the Twitters. And then I got someone liked it, so I pulled up Twitter, saw who liked it, and then I had a quick look at the news feed. And on that news feed, I saw that one of my mutual friends, has liked this post from what said PlayStation, because I didn't read the handle because I'm a nickhead. I'm like, huh? I'm like, well, the person that liked it, I'm like, well, I presume that this person is trustworthy enough. So if they've liked it, there's probably a good reason. I've gone, all right, let's click on the picture. Okay, do the quick math. Okay, so if it's that on a Saturday, cool, that means it's going to be about a Saturday morning for us. So using the X amount of time difference, about 7 a.m. Sweet, I'm going to share it because I trust the person that liked it. Let's put it up there, bam. And I was like, back to playing with my child. That's about as much thought as I put into it. I was like, that looks fucking cool, done. And then someone's like, Buddy Watson, as well as my good friend of the show, Dave Brown, was like, hey man, it's not real. I'm like, huh? Because I didn't look at it enough. So I looked at it and went, oh, fuck! And then deleted it.
Well done.
Thanks, man. Because it was an excitement. It was like, oh shit, I trust that person. Fuck yeah, boo boo.
So he obviously liked it as that's a pretty good joke. Let's give it a like. And you kind of took it as gospel.
Yeah, bro, I didn't take it as gospel. I was just like, fuck, that's exciting. Boop.
Yeah.
But Buddy in the chat says, lol, if it was real, it would be all over the internet. Well, I said I haven't been on the internet in the morning. That's the only time I've been on, social platforms that day. So that's the first thing I saw. I pulled up, and because it's the first thing that popped up in my feed after the picture of me trying to play Patapon with the Rock Band drum set. Only thing that I saw. So I was like, fuck, all right, cool. Because it's not as if, because I got woken up abruptly by my child. I didn't lie in bed and flick through my phone like I normally do. So I just got up and hung out with my kid. And, I'm excited by this whole PlayStation reveal thing. So I was like, ooh, got tantalized. And I got tricked. but then so did 7,000 people according to the retweet count at the time. But, yeah. But he says, I trusted you, Ryan. You got my hopes up. No, you don't. You don't trust me at all. Paul goes, but we all love PlayStation. That we do. That's the thing. I just got excited. Oh, he said it wrong again. It's PlayStation with the removal of the I. See, all this has really done is prove that interesting idea that you never read the whole word.
No, as long as the first and the
The
last.
last, the middle, and the end, and you kind of fill in the rest. And that's exactly what I've done. So to their credit, that's what they did. So everyone's gone, cool. And apparently in the past, there's been Twitter accounts that have replaced the L with like a 1 or something like that, and just enough at a quick glance, you get kind of fucked over with
like
it.
a capital I instead of a lowercase
Capital I,
L,
that's the one. Thank you. Yeah, just enough to fuck with you. And if you don't look at it quickly, like I didn't even look at the verified tick. I was like, oh, whatever. But yeah, no, I was a moron. I'll admit fault. My apologies. But
We just want that news.
I fucking want it. Because like that, what I loved about that picture, it's like it's a Saturday US time. That's a Sunday for us. Like fuck yes, we can literally like do a live thing, and then we can do a show straight after. Awesome. That would be the goal.
I love that you fell for it again just now. Be nice, Paul.
Hey, if anything, I'm playing character. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, how have you been this week, Max? Have you also made a wang out of yourself?
Oh, I mean, yeah, but
not on the internet.
Yeah, but not on the internet. At least not that I know of on the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah, my week's been alright. Sleep's been eluding me most of the week, which is a pain. Night shift,
so we do night shift plus
night shift
bumhole child.
Plus, yeah, bumhole child. It's been rough. The shitty weather has not helped.
Mm-hmm.
We've moved our entire bedroom into the living room, and our living room is now our bedroom.
Nice.
So it's good times.
Yeah, because we had that like bumhole, like just vicious heat and then torrential downpour, which we got stuck in yesterday actually. So yeah, it's Sunday the day of recording. Saturday was this monsoon rain. We're at a wedding in a park, and just everyone slowly drowning. James hated it, absolutely hated it.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
But yeah. What have you been playing?
What have I been playing?
Because look, if we're going to do anything, we're going to repeat the exact steps that many PlayStation shows before us have done, and we're going to start the show with what have you been playing?
I've been playing Escape from Tarkov.
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah. So, after recording last week, I went home and I got suckered into buying GTFO because my mates have been bugging me for weeks. Buy GTFO, come on, cooperative first-person shooter, let's do it. So we bought it. 4 of us bought it. We played it for about half an hour, and then the next day we all bought Tarkov. So we've been playing that. Been playing League of Legends new game, Legends of Runeterra. It's basically Hearthstone, but with League of Legends people.
Cool.
It's good. It's free to play. I've almost got all the cards already without spending any dollary dues.
Jesus
So
Christ.
it's a bit of a win for me.
But how many hours have you put into that?
About 5.
No, that's not too bad.
It's good for a free to play system. You go in, you do all the tutorial stuff, and it's like, here's just a bunch of stuff to use. Go nuts. So it's been good. Other than that, I took 2 days off playing games over the hot mess of Thursday, Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, other than that, not much. What about yourself?
I'll be playing a lot of Patapon, but we're going to talk about that a little bit later.
I played Patapon for a little while.
Yeah, but we'll talk about that later. I picked up Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition on the PC because one of our guys at work is a big fan. He claims to be like fucking so good at it. I'm like, all right, mate, bring it. Kicked my asshole. Man, I haven't played the game in like 15 years. But even then, I'm like, all right, doing the basics. I'm just building up. And the next thing, there's an army at my door. I'm like, I've just built a stable. How the fuck do you have X amount of people? And then the second you quit the game and you explore the full map, I'm like, oh, that's why. Because he's just like decimating, like just everywhere. I'm like, all right, cool. That, play a little bit of GTA, Doom. I've been playing a fuck ton of Doom actually.
Yeah.
So you and I made the agreement last week, first to get credits on Doom. I can see that you haven't tried it all.
No, I haven't tried it all. It turns out it's not even installed anymore. So you've taken a commanding lead.
I have a disc copy if you want a disc copy. I bought it digitally.
I've got it digitally.
Yeah.
I just haven't downloaded it.
So yeah, I'm about halfway through the campaign at this point, which is good. I've streamed it for a couple of hours on Thursday. I've been playing it on and off throughout the week. So when Patapon gets a little bit too repetitive, I'm like, go to Doom. Because we've had Patapon for a little while now. But yeah, so like Doom's so good. Like I knew it was good, but then I kind of like just because it's second to The Last of Us. It was that game that I kept kind of playing in between shit.
Yeah.
So it was like, oh, there's this game. There's nothing for a couple of weeks. I'll play Doom instead. But then it never really happened. So then I ended up playing with some other shiny game that came our way.
Yeah, I think the same thing happened to me. I downloaded it, I would say about 6 months ago. And I think I played through like the first level or two. And then I put it down for something else. And then I never got back to it.
Yeah, it's Ripper. Like I've got I've unlocked all the weapons now, which is cool.
Nice.
So I've ventured out off Mars into like the Hell region, and then I've just come back, and I'm like about a mission or so ahead of that. It's so good, it's so damn good. It makes me really excited for Doom Eternal actually, because I've only ever really done the first handful of missions on it. Missions I guess is how they address it in the game.
Yeah,
I never really saw a lot of the traversal stuff.
Okay.
And then later on, once you sort of get into the demon dimension space, there's a lot of traversal stuff. I'm like, this stuff's awesome. And so then knowing that they've then improved on that additionally with Eternal, with the idea of like, the thing swings and the grapple hooks and like launching and climbing, I'm totally in. Super in. Absolutely fantastic. But other than that, jumped on GTA to get my little bit of dollary dues. Because you log in for X amount of time, you get like $1 million dollary dues, which I'm excited for. I played a fuck ton of Goose Game, thanks to my child. Ugh. I used to love that game. I used to love Goose Game. But anyways, that's enough about what we've been playing. Let's have it. Let's look at the news. I forget I've done this like 140 times. Why am I fucking up right now?
Inform.
Yeah. It's time to inform the players about this week what happened in PlayStation. And I had a brain fart real hard just then.
Yeah, well done.
Thank you.
All right, let's talk Cyberpunk again.
Woo!
And we're not talking about Ryan this time. So Cyberpunk 2077 developer CD Projekt Red has responded to the rumor which originally suggested the game's recent delay to September was due to the significant issues with the current gen versions of the title. Posting on their official forums, Ben Zimmerman of CD Projekt Red says, "Of course we're optimizing for Xbox One and for the PlayStation and PC because that's what you do in the last stretches of game development. While the game is made, lots of things are unoptimized because they're all in flux, they're constantly changing and still not finished." The post continues with, "So simple answers like they delayed the games because of X might make a good rumor but don't hold a lot of truth. There's always many reasons among them, and I can speak for myself simply fixing bugs, so the game is as polished as possible. There's no hidden agendas, we're just working on making the game better."
Cool. Well, so that kind of adds alongside like what Corey Barlog said. It's like, hey, it fucking takes time, man. It's like, who is the last thing you do? But I think it did bring up at least an interesting debate around like what the future of the console generations will hold, knowing that they presumably have to optimize for PS4.
Well, I think the biggest form of this was because it was delayed due to September, right before the new consoles. They're like, have they delayed it just to make it for them?
Yeah.
The answer is no. They're just they've got to optimize it, and it's going to take time.
It is coming,
and like the bigger the game, presumably the longer it takes to optimize.
Yeah,
they have to go through every single little detail.
Well, yeah, that's one of the big reasons why like Bethesda games were just so buggy, because it's like weird density. It's just like it's so much variable. So many. So that's a horrible sentence. So many variables that are visible that it kind of makes it difficult to like. Test everything. It's like the example that gets used almost everywhere is New Vegas, where if you try to leave the city with a specific hat on the specific costume, the game just shits the bed. Like, how do you test for that?
Yeah, well, that's how all the glitches come out for online games and stuff. It's someone's willing to try some random variation of something, and it gets a result, but no one ever tests for that because it's so obscure.
It's so weird. Like, why would you do that?
Yeah. All right. The potential future for remote play. I'm keen for this. So, as part of a survey shared on Reddit, the manufacturer has asked whether respondents would be interested in streaming their games to other devices like the Nintendo Switch or their Apple TV. It also asked whether users would be enticed by an offline version of remote play, but didn't elaborate on how it would actually work. Elsewhere in the questionnaire, the platform holder posits the possibility of playing previous gen games, such as PS1 and PS2, via remote play. There are also references to minor quality of life improvements, such as the removal of unused controls on touchscreens to free up display space. Also, an on-the-go DualShock, which would include a screen and allow you to play your games in a more convenient Wii U-esque format.
Before we jump into that, Dave Brown in the chat. What's up, Dave Brown?
Yo.
He was the one that also called out that I fucked up on Twitter. Yeah.
What do you reckon? Do you want remote play accessible on other devices?
Yeah, I think it's certainly great. Like, I use remote play quite a lot, actually. I never use it with my Vita. I just find it didn't quite do what I needed. However, I use it a lot on my laptop. So there are times where I'm at work, I need to like do something or upload like a save data so I can play it at work, or maybe I'm just piss farting around on my laptop in some downtime. I remote play to home, and it runs pretty smoothly. Like, the picture isn't always super crisp, but I never really have like slowdown. So I'm certainly super keen on it rocking more places. Like, apparently it's doable on phones. I've never really tried on my phones because the touchscreen thingy is a problem.
Yeah.
However, apparently you can now hook it up with a controller, which is like, that's old news, but that's cool. But putting it on like the Switch, cool in premise. My personal experience with the Switch is the Wi-Fi is trash, so I don't know how it will go. I love the idea of it, very cool idea, but I'm not sure how it's going to be done. Do you use a lot of remote play?
I actually don't use a lot of remote play. When I play games, I'm very picky about the screens that I play on. I've tried it a couple of times. Last year, when it was really hot over summer, I actually set my computer up down in the kitchen, ran a 30-meter LAN cable, and went, can't be bothered moving the PlayStation, I'll just remote play to my PC. I had pretty average... Granted, I was trying to play online Overwatch, so that was never going to work well.
Anything that needs that quickness, you're not going to have a good time.
I see the use of it for, like Dave Brown's just put in the chat, he uses it more to do updates as opposed to actually play games.
Yeah, so I just trigger it from work and stuff,
Yeah, but if they can get it working on a Switch or a slightly better quality screen than my phone, I'd definitely try it out. Yeah,
so the one thing they mentioned here is the idea of this potential
offline mode, or
offline mode. So it's almost like you can store a portion of the game, so you can play it elsewhere. That would be cool. But then, how quickly is this you think about that? Like, is this a time thing? Is this a storage thing? Like, all right, I can store about 5 gigs worth of game data, and so depending on what game it is, that could be awesome. That could be bad.
How'd you feel about a really big DualShock with a screen in it? Well,
there's the rumor mill for the PS5 for the longest time has been that there's going to be a screen where the touchpad is. It's not happening because it's a drains ass battery.
Yeah, they better not be.
Yeah, you would need to then come with battery packs to give that a whirl, because we're a couple of weeks away from the back button attachment coming in, so we'll see how that affects the battery of a DualShock.
Yeah,
but yeah, adding a screen on it and then putting a Wi-Fi card in it as well, or some storage in there. I guess solid state storage probably would not be too bad because it's relatively small. Like, those M.2s are just long, they're not really chunky. I'm open to it.
I mean, I think at the end of the day, I want to play my games in the best possible way. So I want to play them on the best possible device, the screen.
Yeah, certainly true. Yeah, because even in this house, like this TV that we have in here and the TV we have in the lounge, I'm like, sometimes I want to just come play in here because I like this TV a little better. But these chairs suck bum, so I don't sit in here all that often. But yeah, no, I agree with the playing the best possible way. Remote play is cool on paper, but I don't think the Australian infrastructure is quite there for internet-wise.
No, our internet sucks.
Yeah, so thankfully, fiber to the premise, it allows me to upload really well, so that hence I can use my remote play at home at work.
Yeah.
If I didn't have the upload speed here, it would be balls.
A decade of trophies. We had the PlayStation wrap-up a few weeks back. Now it's time to get to the really important stuff. Trophies. The folks over at True Trophies have produced a page where you can go and get all the nitty-gritty facts which detail your hunt for trophies. And it's well worth checking out if you love adding platinums to your collection. You'll be presented with all the stats your heart desires from past decade, whether it's the quickest completion of a trophy list you're looking for, the slowest, or even the rarest. You'll be able to uncover all the quick sign-up True Trophies, also lists your 3 rarest overall trophies, breaks down your most played genres with a gigantic pie chart, and lets you know which day you earned the most trophies.
Interesting.
Now, I signed up. Apparently, I've played a ton of games in the last decade, and I suck at getting trophies.
Yeah, see, I don't have to use a website to know that I'm bum at getting trophies. Like, it's only within the last like year and a bit that I've actively looked at trophy hunting, but not like full blown trophy hunting. Just kind of, it is the likes of Buddy Watson, who also put a trophy in the chat. It's people like him that kind of fueled it for me. Because I would just play the game and not think too much about it. But then when I hear him talk about, like, you know, his goals to get X amount of platinums or whatever, I'm like, oh, okay, maybe. Yeah. But like the thing is, it's just like I'm time poor as it is. Let alone then playing a game to grind it out to get the platinum. I just can't do it. I can't do it.
Yeah. See, all the games I play a lot of JRPGs, and the time dump to get trophy hunting in those is just a nightmare.
Yeah, like it. I probably have so many bronzes. Like, I got a fuck ton of bronzes.
Well, I think you've seen my spreadsheet of Persona 5 of what I need to do on every single day to get the platinum in the least amount of playthroughs, and it's still 2.5 playthroughs.
Jesus.
And that's not a quick game.
No. But like there are times, you know, I'm like what, 3 or 4 platinums. Like, it's very disappointing. Like, and say quote unquote disappointing. Like, I'm really happy with those four platinums because they were games I really give a shit about. You know, like Spider-Man I really enjoyed, God of War I really enjoyed, Donut County I did it on a stream, so that was fun, and Job Simulator I did it by accident.
Buddy Watson puts in the chat, how does that differ from the PSN profiles? It's pretty much the same info.
That is very true.
So True Trophies also it lists a rough estimate of how much money you spent on the games.
Okay, so there's a different layer of statistics.
Yeah, there's a different layer of statistics. So you can it'll put it punches in like the MSRP of the games, of the lists of trophies that you have. So it shows how much potential money you spent over the last decade on PlayStation games.
That's a scary statistic.
I haven't looked at the PSN profiles too closely.
I use it occasionally. I normally have a look just to see, just sort of what, because they kind of gives a bit of a trophy list. So
I would imagine it probably downloads from those. Probably gets a lot of their information from those because you log in using your PlayStation network.
Yeah, so I think because PSN profiles also pings from the server as well. Buddy goes, oh damn, I don't want to see what that money value. No, hell no, that's a scary one. That will probably turn you off it. Dave Brown that goes so jumps in, got a little bit of trophy hunting. Now he is a big time hunter. I know for sure. Buddy also goes, next gen, let us delete trophy lists under 5%. Fuck yes. That would be that would be very advantageous.
Oh yeah, I've got so many trophies that are sitting at 0% because
you can piss off 0%.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Either because I played it for like 10 minutes and went, this isn't for me, or I've watched a friend play it on SharePlay and then I've all of a sudden got a bloody trophy list for the game.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can delete 0%ers. Like, as long as you haven't like tick the trophy over, you're all right.
Okay.
But the problem is, like, so many games will give you a trophy for like using the menu screen or like the first mission, and then
congratulations, you've beaten the tutorial.
Yeah, and it's there forever. Which I don't really mind because like I don't really have many embarrassing trophies. Especially if you are a big trophy hunter, like there is a. Yes, 0% can be deleted, says Dave. There is a sense of pride in your trophy list. So if you share your trophy list with someone, you can be like, look at this list. And then but you look at mine, it's like, 1%, 2%, 3%.
Yeah, I think my next closest platinum, I'm sitting on like 93% for Dark Souls, for all the Dark Souls games.
Oh Jesus!
I was gonna go back and collect like all of the items.
Yeah, the one that I did want to go back to, but I just haven't had time, is Days Gone. Like, I was pretty close. The last ones were just like clear out the hordes. There was one for drifting for 10 seconds or something, which I'm fully upgradable. It should be easily done. Like, that was
Anthem 2% trash. Come on, man! It just got updated. I mean, I haven't played it again since it was snowing last time I got on. I was like, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah. So like the benefit now that I'm playing more than I ever have because I'm trying to intentionally get more credits, my trophy list is filling out accordingly. Like, I'm getting more as I play along. But yeah, I don't always go out of my way.
So speaking of trophy hunting, this year we've got a few banger titles. Yeah. Are you gonna platinum Resi 3? Are you gonna go for it?
I'll give it a go, but it all comes down to, because look, I'm also trash at games. I'm bad.
As long as there's not like a time limit on it. Complete in under X amount of hours.
Because I had the same thing for Resident Evil 2. So when I went and finished the second run the other week. I was like, let's have a look at that trophy list. It's like finishing under X hours. I'm like don't stab anyone, don't use the black box. I'm like, how? Like save less than twice. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I cannot do that. I
feel like I have to save every time right before a boss fight just in case.
Yeah. So like those ones, my skill level is not there to do that, as an example.
Yeah.
Like Tools Up I want you and I to platinum that bad boy on stream. Like we are so close. We literally only have the stars, just complete X amount of levels.
Well, hopefully I'm not dying this week, and I'll come in on Thursday.
Because like it will take some time. I might go over the 2 hours, but I do want to like, because I love that game, and we're so close. Well, I'm so close. I would like to cross that one off, personally. Buddy in the chat goes, RE will be hard, finishing with certain amount of steps, items, time, etc. Yeah, that's ridiculous. That's stuff I just don't have the time nor comprehension to put together. Like someone's like, you're doing less than 10,000 steps. I'm like, huh? Just too hard for me. Trophies are awesomely cool, and like I understand. I presume that they'll keep going to PS5, and then hopefully they do something cooler with them, because they are like very surface level, like meta game. There's not a whole lot to them, but you know, hey buddy, how many plats are you on now? Like 105, 108, something like that.
Jeez,
like he's gone hard. Like he had a big goal to finish the year with a hundo, and I think he got that in like October, and then he pushed across. Like I know Dave has a lot too. I'm not quite sure what his total number is, but have you got any plats before?
I think I got 3.
You know what they're in?
I have the plat.
Oh, I got Control. I forgot about Control.
I have the plat for Black Ops 2.
Really? Yeah. Okay.
What else have I got platinum on? I see. I've got a few like plats on the Xbox version of games. So I've done Assassin's Creed 2.
Like the full achievements. Yeah.
102. Damn, that's a good number. Should get Moss today or tomorrow.
See, Moss is another one I wanted to go back and do. It's just I'm just bummed at sitting down and doing VR these days.
It's been too hot.
Yeah, and my kid just really wants my attention. I'm like, fuck, why do you like me? Yeah, so like, because I got Control, God of War.
Oh, I think I got Minecraft.
Spider-Man. Oh, Minecraft, that'd be an interesting one. I'm like 5, 6 maybe.
Days on 84. Jeez.
Working a couple at the moment. See, that's impressive.
Go outside, guys.
They just sit outside and play it through the window. No, there's nothing wrong. That's
Remote
awesome.
play.
That is awesome. Like,
that's intense. I wish I had I'm one of those. I wish I wasn't like this. I'm one of those people that once I've finished with a game, I find it very hard to pick it up again.
Yeah, I really have to. That's why God of War, because I'm like, this is my game of the generation, if not of all time. Like, I gotta do it. And I did, you know. And Spider-Man was just fun.
Yeah, Spider-Man was great.
And Control was banging, so I had to do the same thing for Control. It's all well and good. Let's head into... We've been about trophies for so fucking long. What's next?
E3 death rattles. Remember when it sounded like E3 2020 would be drastically changing its image following a rebrand to a fan, media, and influencer festival? Well, it looks like that's exactly what's happening. The ESA, the Entertainment Software Association, has issued a statement detailing its plans for the year's Electronics Entertainment Expo, and it does not make for the best of readings. The company describes E3 2020 as a new and revitalized experience for everyone. The LA show floor is set to feature surprise guests, stage experiences, access to insiders, and experimental zones. Yeah, we're not entirely sure what those last two mean either. Nevertheless, we will be combined with new streaming and digital programming, which we take as E3's own live-streamed show unveiling new games and whatever else the firm can get its hands on. Elsewhere, the ESA has rebuilt its website following last year's data hack, which saw hundreds of journalists have their personal details leaked across the internet, leading to harassment and unwanted advances. It claims this includes updating our data management processes, including the handling of personal identifiable information, and we will no longer store that data on our site. Why was it ever stored on their site to begin with? That is ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Yeah, like, I don't know about you, like... I guess once again with PlayStation not attending, I got to not give a shit about E3 last year. It was awesome, and I get to not give a shit about it again this year, which is also awesome. But even what they're saying here, that granted, this doesn't affect a lot of us because we're in Australia and we're not going. So even if the opportunity come, we'd be like, oh, it's not happening. Like these things only affect those that are there in terms of what they're on display and how the stuff. Like even how I look at it, because although we aren't industry quote unquote, like for us it's approaching it in the hands-on what people are seeing in the press conferences, and I don't give a shit about this interactive crap on the floor because we're not there. It doesn't help.
Yeah,
it's not relevant to it's not relevant to how we use E3.
It'll be interesting to see how many people go this year, considering what happened to them last year with the information leaks.
Yeah, very true.
It'll be interesting to see what journalists actually attend after, especially if they did get harassed after last year.
Yeah, that is going to be a forever blemish.
And it's such a hard year for them this year, obviously, with the new console generation being this year. This will be the year to go big.
Because that would be that conflict, though. It's like it's that conflict of, we don't want to go because we don't want to support this, in the idea of, they leaked all our info and I had a real shit time because of it or something like this. Not me specifically, but do all that and then but we need to go because the Xbox is going to be there, these new games are going to be there, we kind of have to cover it, we need to go, but it's that weird balancing act, right? It's like E3 understands that it does offer some things that the other places don't, therefore there is that minor draw, but I think the draw is even less and less over time.
Yeah. Let's talk more Resi Evil.
Yeah!
So speaking with Games Radar, producer Peter Fabiano said, during development, our director saw what the team did with The Tyrant in last year's Resi Evil 2 remake and was determined to surpass that with Nemesis. He then goes on to state that the team wants to make Nemesis its own brand of fear, a relentless pursuer who even comes equipped with its own guns. You'll see that when you play the game. What do you reckon?
Yeah.
we going more scary than Tyrant?
Swear. Well, the Tyrant was a different fear. Like, the fear of the Tyrant was just that impending doom of where the fuck is he? Because, although really once you get up in his face, he just sucker punch you. Like, that's about it. And then you have to, duck and weave, and then he'll just sucker punch you again. So, in terms of once he gets a hold of you, it is a 2-hit death, depending on what difficulty you're playing on. However, it's a different fear. A lot of the fear came from the stalking. Right, so if you have that stalking of the Nemesis, and then he can also blow your face out, there's an extra layer of fear there. Now, once again, having not played Nemesis back in the day, I can't confirm or deny how it was done in the past. I can only go by what they're saying here, and
I'm the same.
I'm damp for it.
Didn't play Resi 3 back in the day.
Yeah.
Did play Resi 2 back in the day, and that was I hope they can. I hope they can surpass it. I want to have to change my underwear.
Yeah, I do want to see more memes about when someone mods in something that isn't the Tyrant, like a Goose or Thomas or just other obscure shit. That's what I want to see.
We have some more Resident Evil 8 rumors from the YouTube channel Residents of Evil.
Good name, by the way.
Great name. Resident Evil 8 will supposedly see the return of Resident Evil 7 biohazard protagonist Ethan Winters, along with the first-person perspective.
Well, I'm down first-person perspective. That was awesome.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that.
Which presumably could mean some VR stuff again, which would be rad.
Hope so. Zombies will make their triumphant return alongside an all-new enemy type, werewolves.
Yeah, look, that's the one problem that I had with Resi 7 was the weird sludge dudes. What
about those weird parasite dudes from, was it 4?
Oh, one, and then the extra
yeah,
thing.
you shot their head off because in zombie games you're always you shoot them in the head.
Yep.
And then it was
and then you just get double fucked up. Yeah.
It's an interesting claim indeed that it is given a fraction of weight by another stalker-like foe which will pursue you throughout the game. Think of Resident Evil 2's Mr. X or the Baker family, and you're on the right track.
Yeah, Baker family's good. I love Baker family. Old Daddy Baker, his name I can't remember. Yeah, he was awesome. That scene when you walk around that corner and just kicks that fucking wall in and then chases you. Oh, damn.
Chris Redfield will return in some form.
So that was the one thing that was super weird about the end of 7, though, when you go to that submarine and you do a weird shit. That was weird.
Reliable news source Nibel on Twitter has now corroborated the rumor by stating it matches with stuff I've been hearing, which is why I went forward with it. The info in the video is all coming from a playtest that Capcom had some time ago, apparently.
So I've been sitting here talking about my thoughts on this. What about you?
I'm keen for Resident Evil 8. Super keen that zombies are coming back.
Thank you, Darth Akim, for the follow. We did hear the nice.
Werewolves are fine. It's a supernatural game. It's not really, first person, great. Would love to see more VR. having another stalker foe, I think the stalker really pushes you forwards in places.
Yeah.
It restricts you in. I shouldn't say restrict. It
does.
It pressures you forward and gives you less time to think about what you're doing because you're always under pressure of, if I get caught, I'm gonna die.
But that's 100% true. Like, there are times where you could like sit and try to nut out a puzzle or something, but you don't really get that chance because there's always that impending doom right behind you.
Or the simpler, I'm almost out of ammo. I really need to search for some items, but I can't because this dude's gonna get me. So having someone just stalk you makes the game more difficult in a sense because it takes away that freedom of, I can kind of take my time a little bit here. It keeps you on your toes.
And I think there is like it's possibly with the coding of Tyrant is like I think it knows where you need to be for certain parts of the game because I'm like, I need to get into this room to get this one certain thing to be able to proceed forward, and he just circles that fucking room. Like, I swear to God, he circles that room. So like, I come from like 3rd floor down, he's there. I go the other way and he's there. Like, it's a good feel, and I like. Do you think though, by having Resi 2, Resi 3, and 7, and now possibly 8, that'd be the 4th game with a stalker-like foe, do you think that will water down that effect?
It depends on how prominent it is. Because the stalker in Resident Evil 2 doesn't stick around for too long.
True. Well, yeah, because he only annoys you when you're at the RCPD. And once you leave there, he appears later, but it's same with the Baker family in 7. They have their set periods of, we're going to hunt you down, and once you kind of escape the area, they do back off a little bit until you meet the next one. Yeah, or you take them out and then you're allowed to wander the house freely. I want to play 7 again. I think Josh has the disc. I'll go get it off him.
So I'm all for another Stalker. Stalkers are great. They do push you along, and it's always good to have that sense of, where are they? How are they going to get me? Yeah,
and it keeps you going for. As you said, it puts that pressure on, which is good. All right, love it. I'm back on board.
Not so Silent Hill. Speaking with PC Games N, a Konami representative said, "We cannot share anything at this point, but we are listening to customer feedback and considering ways to provide the next title. It's a fairly surprising response where the Japanese studio doesn't kill the rumors where they stand, instead offering fans hope that there may actually be some truth to the speculation."
So this is bouncing back on the story we reported what we talked about last week, with there being this possibility of a Silent Hill game in the works.
Did you see there's apparently a new movie coming out?
Oh, sweet! The other two are bomb. Totally in. I did quite like the first Silent Hill movie was a guilty pleasure for longest time. I just kind of really enjoyed it. Second one was really bum.
I don't know. My guilty pleasure video game movie is the original Mortal Kombat movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
I really like it. It's so good. It's so bad, but so good.
Yeah, and Silent Hill is certainly that. Like, they kind of nailed the tone, but then the story was super weird. And like you're in this scary town, and this woman's just constantly running around being like, Sharon. Yeah, it was awesome. But then seeing Pyramid Head and like all the nurses and all that sort of stuff was very cool.
So with how good Resident Evil has been in the last 2 years, is there room for a new Silent Hill?
Well, it's more than 2. No, it's been 2 years. Oh, that's a bit more than 2 years. Because today, funny enough, we, as time of recording on Sunday, the 2nd of Feb, we posted our Resident Evil 7 review. Like, it's the one we recorded under my friend's house, and it was all cool and like real spooky looking. It's good fun. Yeah, so I think there is a resurgence that Capcom's having, and I guarantee that could possibly be what is fueling the fire for Konami to consider diving back into this. But it's also going to come with that share of risk as well. It's like, well, these guys are kicking so much butt on it. You know, do we step into that same space? And if we don't deliver that, like, there's the risk and reward, right?
Yeah. Would you? You're a massive fan of Silent Hill. You'd be keen to see another one?
Yeah, very much. I think I was damp last week. When I read this, I was like double damp.
So EA have some plans.
All right.
EA has just announced that it has 4 major games planned for launch by the end of March 2021 as part of its latest earnings call. At this point, we truly hope So the rumors behind this, a lot of them will be remastered games. A lot of theories are we will get the Mass Effect trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
But let's see. So rather than Sony's current gen consoles, what could the 4 titles in question realistically be? We know that Battlefield is being saved for the end of next year. Star Wars Battlefront 2 still seems to be the focus when it comes to the publisher's efforts in a galaxy far, far away. Mm-hmm. And it's worth mentioning that the total doesn't include any of their sports games. So what does it actually leave us with? A new Need for Speed? That seems unlikely after Need for Speed Heat's release just a few months ago. Could we get another Anthem? Could we actually get the Anthem we were promised?
It's possible. That one I don't suspect.
But four big new releases within a year that don't include any of their sports titles. These have got to be remasters, yeah?
Have to be. Or indie games. Like, because they do have the EA Arts or whatever. No, it's Ubi Arts. It was like the EA Indies Initiative or whatever it was. So they had Unravel was one of them. Mm-hmm. No Way Out was one of them as well. So it's very likely we'll see something like that. That may be 1 or 2 of those titles. And then the Mass Effect trilogy is forever going to be rumored until it happens. I think it makes more sense than to do it now, especially after the poo-hole success of Andromeda. Because originally, I'm like, why didn't they release it? This isn't my opinion because I really don't care about Mass Effect all that much. Prior to it, like, why didn't they release the remastered trilogy prior to Andromeda? Because the idea would be if you replayed that now, you would then see how poo-hole Andromeda is. But I think there's been enough time between Andromeda and like now, or at least 2020, that they could do it and it won't negatively impact the game that was already incredibly negatively impacted. Outside of that, Need for Speed could possibly, but maybe not this soon because Heat did just come out last year.
The only other thing I can think of would be maybe Dragon Age.
Well, we do know Dragon Age 4 is in the works, but we've not seen anything. So that one's a toughie. The difficulty that I'm having is I'm trying to think of what EA has. Like, because when I think of EA, I only think sports games. I think Star Wars, and then I'm like, Do
EA have Titanfall?
They do have Titanfall.
Could we... Titanfall 3? Come on, guys.
That's also been in the... I remember that being in the works, or in the rumor mill.
Because they're working on a VR game at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah, I think so. Last I heard. But then, my hearing of something comes from some other outlets, so it's not like I have insider. I don't have anything. But
it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what it is. Because EA is tough, man. Because EA is constantly fighting that battle of where they sit in the hearts of fans. Everyone poos on them, yet the games sell really well. Like we'll mention it now. So in the QUICKBITS, there was mention of Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah, so it's exceeded their expectations.
Yeah,
so I think they expected 6 to 7 units sold, and I think they're well on their way to close to 10.
Yeah, so obviously people are like, EA sucks, except for this one game that I really enjoy. Everyone
wants a new Burnout game.
Darth Akim, to no surprise, goes Star Wars. Yeah, Real Dave Brown wouldn't mind a new Burnout game. Was it Criterion did Burnout? What are they doing?
Criterion did their last Need for Speed, didn't they?
I think so.
They did Hot Pursuit and all that, didn't they?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Did they do Heat as well?
Yeah, no, they didn't do Heat. I don't think they're on Heat. That was a weird sentence. All right, moving on.
PS Plus games for February: BioShock The Collection, Sims 4, and Firewall Zero Hour is your bonus VR game.
It's a pretty bang list.
I'm so stoked that I can replay the BioShock Collection.
I have been wanting to buy the BioShock Collection for actual years, but I'm like, I've never found the right price. So I'm like,
this price is pretty good.
This price is brilliant. Sims 4 is always fun, so I'm down for Sims 4.
I give zero fucks about Sims.
Really?
Yeah, and I already own Firewall Zero Hour.
I know that it's you, Mike. It's your name on Twitter.
Let's jump into some quick bits. Death Stranding Update 1.10 removes repetitive camera zoom when entering BT areas.
Yeah, because you're like, Before you in though, so they've mentioned the bonus VR game. Do you think that will repeat moving forward?
I hope so.
Yeah, me too. Big time. That's about it.
There's a lot of PSVR.
So many
titles.
PSVR games, they could probably could piss off now.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. Paul James Games goes, Criterion help the other studios when vehicular stuff isn't required these days. But yeah, removing of that like hardcore crash zoom into like that weird thingy. Yeah, removing that I'm pretty happy with. If there was a way I could just remove BT areas completely, just so I can get the trophies that I need, that would be much impressed. That'd be much improved.
Days Gone update 1.61.
Oh, yeah, remember that extreme sports game that never came out? Kinda.
Vaguely, actually. Yeah.
Kinda. Didn't they? Wasn't? I remember there was like an extreme golf or something. It was just like blowing up toilets with golf balls. Remember that? I think that actually came out. I don't think that was a Criterion game though.
Days Gone update 1.61. Although 30 gig will optimize the game and reduce the total game file size.
Yeah, that game's huge. It's real huge. So granted, that's a big ass download, but if it actually makes the game smaller overall, then that's a win. Because the reason I didn't get the platinum, the reason I didn't pursue it any further is because it took up too much space. I just deleted it.
Is it as egregious as like the CODs at over 100 gig?
I think it was pushing 90 at the time. But like if this drops it down to like a good 50,
that's not too bad. Bluepoint Games claims their PS5 project aims to define the visual benchmark for next gen.
Well, if they're releasing a launch game, then they will. Right? Like, if they are the first game out of the ranks, they will therefore set the benchmark. And then everyone proceeds to beat said benchmark. But because
that's a little harsh, but yes.
No, because it's totally true. Like,
it is true.
You know, that was Criterion. There we go. I'm pretty sure that's out. It's called Dangerous Golf, I think it is. But yeah, so yeah, with that, like, this is the benchmark. And then 6 months later, a new benchmark.
A new benchmark.
You know? So, 100%.
I really want it to be Demon Souls. Yeah. I'm so keen to play that game again. There will be no microtransactions in Doom Eternal.
Yay! Woo, 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 woo.
How am I supposed to buy my health packs when I can't get past the area that I'm stuck in?
Look, so this is a great thing to hear, especially on the back of Youngblood, when we like that game was a bum and two little microtransactions. The only thing that still concerns me is the hub world. But having played Doom Eternal,
if integrated well, it should.
If integrated well and it actually serves a purpose rather than just being some stopgap between areas, then I'm totally cool with it. Like if it's, I believe it's being used as the space to jump between planets or areas, so I guess it makes sense why it's there rather than telling one big long narrative. Like instead, they're creating really cool set pieces, presumably. That'd be down with that. Buddy Watson, Jumping Flash 2 or bust for the Bluepoint game.
This news excited me. Pistol Whip coming to PSVR.
What Pistol Whip?
Pistol Whip. It's basically how I keep referring to it as. It's John Wick, the game. It's a rhythm game. It's an on-rail rhythm game where you shoot people to music.
Like Audica, but with like shooting faces.
People. Yeah.
Sweet. I'm in.
It's rad. And Ryan gracefully put some news in for me, and just to stick it to him, I haven't actually seen it. Yep. So, Final Fantasy VII Remake had a new trailer, and I would presumably be damp had I seen it.
Yeah, I was like, oh, the trailer's there. I didn't watch it because I'm just going to play it when it comes out. Max loves that shit. He's got a tattoo on his arm, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, I'm also not watching it, and I will also play it when it comes out.
Because you're on Blackout as well.
I am on Blackout.
Because you've got so your tattoo here on your...
Yeah, so I have a Final Fantasy VII themed tattoo on my front arm and the back. I have a Final Fantasy VII tattoo in the style of Final Fantasy VIII. So I've got I've got pro tags on the front and tags on the back. Because I'm a gigantic nerd.
Because as you can imagine, you're pretty stoked on the remake.
I also have a fairy tale tattoo on my back, but you know, we won't go.
Well, remind me, I got an email about that one. Because I know you'd be keen for that one.
Yeah, man.
Is there anything else?
No, that's it for the news.
Yeah, that's enough about the news. Let's have a chat to the players. And this week we are chatting about Patapon. Patapon 2 Remastered. So, big thank you to PlayStation Australia for providing the code for Patapon 2 Remastered. It was actually a fun story for me because I was sitting on the toilet having a poops, as I do, and then bing, like, oh shit, code Patapon. And it was like 1 a.m. because I just edited, I just recorded Young and the Restless. I was editing it. I'm like, I'm so tired, I go to bed, but I got to poop first. Like, bing, like, sweet. And wandered out, put it in, and then back to bed. So Patapon 2 is a remaster, as the name suggests, of a PSP rhythm style game. So it's a rhythm game with godlike setup, with a little bit of light RPG-ness in terms of stats and numbers, but in essence, you control a series of small little minions, which are called Patapon, and it's all about moving from one side of the screen to the other and traversing and attacking certain items and enemies and moving forward and forward. It's in its simplest form. And different patterns of drums, as you unlock them, will trigger different responses. As in, like, you know, one particular pattern will keep them moving forward, one of them will have them defend, the other will have them attack, and the other one will unleash is such a strong word, use connected miracles, like to make it rain, to unveil certain enemies. I haven't played Patapon 2 before, prior to this, because I have a PSP, as you can see, it's on the shelf behind me. However, I got that, like, way into the Vita generation. So I didn't really jump on all the stuff early on. So I've always known of Patapon. Like, the iconography of the brand is pretty high, especially within the PlayStation brand. So I was very keen to check it out. I'm also a sucker for rhythm games, like Rock Band and whatnot, which, you know, as I said, I did try. I tried to bring the Rock Band drums in. I'm like, if I could be like, like, that would eliminate some of the issues with, like, bunging a controller, but, like, didn't work. But Max, you also love rhythm games.
I also love rhythm games. I also, like you, have not played any of the Patapon series previously. And, yeah. I sent you a message, when was it, yesterday afternoon?
Yeah.
Saying, we asked the question, should Patapon 2 have received a remaster? Max says no.
Why didn't you like it?
So I played it for about 4 hours in the middle of the night after my kid woke me up and I couldn't get back to sleep. So I'm like, I'll go check out Patapon. So the issues I have with this game, when I first played it, I played it on a TV with no headphones. Now my TV has horrendous audio-visual lag, so keeping to a rhythm in a rhythm game was frustrating because I couldn't do it because the sound was out. Plugged headphones in, that alleviated all the issues. So once I fixed it, it got much, much better. And then it told me, your Patapons will make facial expressions when they can attack or when they're in range for an attack. I'm like, cool, that's good. I'll keep an eye out for that. So they get angry and I punch in my song of attack, and then they yell at me and say there's nothing in attack range. And I'm like, but you're making the angry faces that says you can attack.
But it varies. It varies on the three different types, because like some have different range.
These were the spear wankers at the very start who throw spears. So I got really angry, and then I'm like, okay, so I'll do the marching move. I'll move, and then they wouldn't attack because they were too close, and they were backstepping back up to where I was, and I was just getting super frustrated. I kept playing. Got the third song. Got the Song of Shield. I'm like, oh, this guy's clearly doing. He's indicating that he's about to attack. I'll shield up. I did it a little bit too early, so they all got wrecked because the shielding wore off before he attacked. I'm like, okay, cool. I don't know the timing for this game at all. In its essence of it being a rhythm game, it's kind of fun. But the music gets super repetitive real quick. The combo system is frustrating when it's because the game tells you as soon as they've finished singing their song that you've just played, you can punch in the next one. But if you take slightly too long, it ruins your combo. And combos are important because the bigger your combo, the more attack damage your guys do when you're attacking. And it's very frustrating when they're finished singing their song and you punch in the attack and it's like, nah, sorry, you missed. So I'm going to go back to doing 1 damage. And it takes like 30 seconds to destroy a rock to move on. Granted, again, I did play this really early in the morning after I got woken up by my kid, but I can't see myself going back to it. It was very... The game is very simplistic. I like it for that reason, but it was just grinding my gears too hard with the slight irks of being a rhythm game and keeping to a rhythm that sometimes just doesn't exist. And their voices are annoying. What about you?
I enjoyed it.
You enjoyed it?
I certainly don't love it, but I am enjoying it. My son loves it. He just likes yelling Patapon on the couch.
Yeah.
So with the march, because the march is the 3 patters and a pon, because each of the different ones make a sound. So there's patter, shaka, pon, and dun, like dun dun. So James loves yelling patter, patter, patter on the couch as they sort of move forward. He really enjoys that. So he's given a great score right now of it. So a lot of my irks are similar to yours. I do find that it is incredibly repetitive, but I guess with the idea of this does that does that, and that doesn't, those don't vary. It kind of locks that in. Now I presume that you learn more as the go. So I'm I'm just under halfway, I think. So there's about just 30 something levels. I'm on like level 14 or 15, but I felt that I've seen enough of the game to actively come in here and review it. I will keep going and we'll update any my thoughts additionally as I go, because I do want to get credits on it. But yeah, when that repetitive is just so the exact same, it does make it difficult to feel that urge to keep going. In terms of the rhythm stuff, I was very lucky with not having too much of an issue with the playing of the game. So, friend of the show, Paul James, he was mentioning me going like, "This game's fucked. Why can't I move? Like, no matter what I'm pressing, like in exactly the timing, the game yells at me." And like we were like sending videos of each other about like how to possibly like nail it, and because I kind of got it nice and quick. Eventually he got it and he's like, I don't know what I wasn't getting.
Well, I had the same issue at the start, and what I did, I turned the background music off because your rhythm of your drum beat doesn't go to the actual background music.
Yeah.
So I turned that off and then just and tapped along with what I was doing, and then it solved the issue.
Well, yeah, because that's the one thing that I had. So I would forever have like my head. I would bop my head. I'd stamp my foot to the 4-beat, because like I'm a drummer from back in the day, so I can at least keep a rhythm, and because that's my skill set in Rock Band is the drum, so I can keep that 4-beat as I'm playing. I'm like, so but everything worked on that 4-beat. So you'd be like patter, 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 pon. Then they would sing for 4 beats, and then you'd go back. Yeah. So because that never changed, you're able to sort of keep that beat going. So dropping it after they sing, I didn't really happen unless James got distracting me in some way. So you can sort of keep that going. The difficulty that you have is when you have a cutscene or something, you meet a person, but you have to keep going with the combo. So you're telling them to move forward or you're telling them to attack, and you're just waiting because like you can't. If you second you stop, you lose that combo. So you're sitting there watching them talk to some random other Patapon they find, and you're just like, all right, I'm gonna keep making you attack, keep making you move forward. The defense one I do like because, as you mentioned, like something's not in attack range or it's too close, it allows you to up your shield for the front guys, and then the backward sort of hike whatever they had. So where I'm at right now, I've unlocked 4 different types of Patapon. There's your standard guys, which sort of we have at the front. They have a shield and a sword or an axe or some sort of weapon like that. And in the middle, you can have a spearman or a cavalry. I have cavalry currently, so I have like dudes on horses. They're really good at just fanging it forward. So when the likes of a rock or something, they just kind of run forward and spear it, clears it out in a second. Because like some of those issues that you mentioned about taking so long to get through an object, so that goes over time. Yeah,
so I have the spearmen and I have the sword and shield guys. So the sword and shield guys did alleviate the issue of I can instantly kill rocks. That was great. My main issue was the tutorials were quite strange with how they explained things.
Yeah.
And the fact that I had to play the song like 20 times to pass the tutorial also frustrated me. I'm like, I've got it down after a good like 3 or 4 times, so I really need to just keep doing it until you give me the okay that it's all good.
Yeah. Yeah, so then at the back end, I'd have the archers, which were the big long attacks.
Yeah.
So as I mentioned, like because the godlike comes from how you control them. They listen to your drum beats, therefore you control them in that godlike way.
Yeah.
When I mentioned the RPG-lite style, that comes from items. So there are specific levels that you go to where you can. The entire mission is you going from front to end, clearing stuff out and collecting weaponry. So you get new lances, new shields, new bows, new hats, new shield, like all these things, and that what helps you get fuller. So there is a bit of grind for where you have to replay a level because you're like I have 5 archers are only 2 decent bows. So to go back there, grind it out, whatever. And that is probably the one thing, because also the repetitive nature of the song. There's also, of the rhythms. There's also the repetitive nature of having to go through each of those levels again to gain more items, gain more things to assist you in building and leveling up these Patapon. Like there is a consistent amount of redo, but with the music ultimately not changing. The rhythms ultimately not changing, it makes it difficult. However, I also understand that if you were to change those rhythms, it would actually completely change the consistency of the game. Because if there are 4 different combinations for how to move, you would forget.
Oh, definitely.
Like right now, because there's 3, 4, 5, whatever amount of standard rhythms, you're not going to forget them.
Yeah.
So it would be interesting if they're like, it just flashes on the screen of what you need to do, kind of like Guitar Hero, but then you lose the control of wanting to attack rather than walk or vice versa.
Yeah.
So I understand why this would be in there. And I enjoy the difference, but the repetition of it is the big killer. So I've been playing it in small bursts because it just starts hurting my head. After a short window of time, and then I'll go play something like Doom, and then I'd go back.
I think that's what I might have to do.
Yeah.
Just play it in shorter bursts.
Yeah, because I do think you should give it some more time.
I definitely will give it more time.
Because I think once you sort of start unlocking the different squads and sort of new weaponry, because you do also unlock new heroes.
Yeah. Because
there are certain ones where you'll gather an egg at the end of the mission. You go to this little dimension portal and you take that, and then you do a series, almost like a monster fight, to then hatch the egg and get a new hero.
Yeah.
So like the RPG systems in it is pretty fun, of like upgrading and optimizing each individual Patapon to sort of really best suit your play style, which is cool. That part I really enjoyed. Overall, it's still not a bad game. I've played way worse games in my time.
Oh yeah.
But I do believe that this is very much for a very specific hardcore PlayStation fan, and with the likes of Greg Miller from known from PlayStation Beyond and PS I Love You, like other more notable PlayStation podcasts than ours. He's been one of the being spearheading this to come back
for years.
So it does hit a very specific market of PlayStation fan, and it isn't for everyone because not everyone likes rhythm games anyway.
No.
But I enjoyed it nonetheless. I will finish it because that's my goals these days is more credits. We'll get them at halfway. I'll give it a go. Now, Paul James in the chat did also add, he goes, he had already played it on PSP as well. So it wasn't if he was coming in fresh like we were. So we meant like, what the hell is this? He had played it in the past and didn't have an issue, but he's playing it now. We're like, what the hell? The big difference with playing on PSP is there is no lag time because the screen is in the device. Is there anything else you want to sort of add to it?
So I played it on a base model, so I didn't get to check out all the 4K. It's 4K glory.
Oh yeah, so I'm playing on a Pro, of course. The game looks immaculate in that sense. Frame rate seems pretty locked at 30. Like it may have been running higher, but I didn't feel it. If that makes sense, just felt standard. But I guess because it walks in short bursts and everything kind of has that almost not stop motion, but like
they have idle animations when they're kind of standing still.
Yeah, and it's all very like sort of like almost like puppetry, right?
Yeah.
So it's not entirely super smooth movement. So if it was running at 60, the game does not allow for that to be seen well. But it is, once again, because of the simplicity of the art style, having it in 4K looked brilliant.
Yeah.
The cutscenes themselves are not in 4K. They have not been upscaled or remastered in any way, so they do look poo. So like when the game opens, there's this cutscene, you're like, "Ooh, you look like rough," and then once the game kicks in, you're like, "Okay," and I'm back in. But yeah, so the art style is awesome. That part is really, really cool. It looks immaculate. But this, I don't see this remaster doing gangbusters. It is a little fan servicey to the right people, and that alone is certainly its strong point. And I understand why they did that, because they
kind of dropped out of nowhere too.
It did. So they announced it, and then a couple of days later, it was coming on its way. So like, even when I got the code, I was like, oh man, I think Patapon 2 is coming out soon. Oh shit. And then it was a couple of days later that it was being released. So that it is out now. It came out on Friday, the 31st here in Australia. It was 30th everywhere else. It was a worldwide release date, which was a bit weird. But yeah. Let us know what you thought of Patapon 2 Remaster. If you have any questions about it, let me know in the comments below. I'll be sure to jump in there and answer them. If you have any questions for Max, we'll get him to jump in as well and respond to any questions that you have.
Definitely.
But if Patapon isn't up your alley, maybe there's some other games you want to look at in the future, that's where we come to this section. It's called Coming to the Players, where we tell you about what games that are coming out this week on your PlayStation.
So new PlayStation games for February 4th, 2020. Again, this is from the US PlayStation blog, so dates may be skewed a little bit and entire releases may also be skewed. But what do we have? I have lost my mouse cursor.
Quadruple Zero Plus.
Quadruple Zero Plus, PS4, PS Vita, digital cross-buy.
Cool. I want it twice for some reason.
Seventh Sector, PS4 digital, out the 5th of the 2nd.
Damn those backwards dates.
Gets me every time. Ash of Gods Redemption, out the 3rd of the 2nd. PS4 digital. Car X Drift Racing Online, PS4 digital, out the 7th of the 2nd.
Sounds bomb.
The Dark Crystal Age of Resistance Tactics, PS4 digital.
This sounds interesting. Give this one a read.
Lead a fledgling resistance of Gelfling against their oppressive overlords. Did you make me read this because it's all filled with bogus words?
No, because it's Dark Crystal. Dark Crystal's rad.
Their Skeksis across more than 50 unique turn-based tactics RPG battles. Recruit and customize new allies by assigning them jobs, modifying their abilities, and outfitting them with the equipment to ensure victory.
Nice.
Dawn of Fear, PS4 digital, at the 3rd of the 2nd. Just a Phrase by Palgi, PS4, PS Vita, digital cross-buy.
Man, Palgi's pumping out games, eh?
Monster Energy Supercross, the official video game, number 3. PS4 digital.
I'll pay the other two.
Nerved, PS4 digital.
That's a cool looking picture. So the picture itself it's almost like a darkened street. You know, everything's all foggy, but there's this like sort of ghoulish shape, humanoid shape in the thing with Nerved on the side. What does it say?
Nerved is a first-person horror game about a paranormal investigator couple and their latest adventure in the Bitterwood Forest. This last case that they have chosen to persuade will deliver a carnal impact on the couple's fate, both personally and professionally.
That sounds rad. I doubt it's cool, but it sounds rad.
Panda Ball, PS4 digital, out the 6th of the 2nd. It's Panda with rings. Recnum, PS4 digital, out the 3rd of the 2nd. Throw Anything, PSVR digital, out the 6th of the 2nd.
This looks cool.
Get secret missions from Secret Delivery Agency, the SDA, and save the world from zombie horde in the VR action game Throw Anything. There is nowhere to run and nowhere to hide as zombies climb up the walls hoping to satisfy their appetite for brains. Face off against starving zombies in high-rise buildings across the globe.
I did get him about this with a possible code, if you're interested.
Yeah, VR.
All right, I'll respond.
Throw Anything. I will hold them to that.
I love that idea of just like whatever is around me, because that's that is an example of what made Job Simulator really good, because they keep you in like a 1x1 space, and then everything is like nothing's nailed down. That is how you deliver like quality VR.
Zombie.
I was Zombie.
PS4 digital.
Should be capital B though, I imagine.
Out the 5th of the 2nd. Zombie Army 4 Dead War, PS4 digital.
Probably the only big one coming out this week.
Hitler's hordes are back for more in this spine-chilling shooter. Occult enemies, epic weapons, and new campaigns for 1 to 4 players await as you fight to save humankind from undead Armageddon. That's all we have.
Yeah, there's nothing of recommendation. They probably like throw anything we might check out. Dark Crystal seemed really cool. Throw anything is I mentioned that one, didn't I? Nerved looks interesting. The premise sounds cool.
Premise sounds cool.
I have to see what. I bet you it's like some bit looking one, like that 16-bit styled game. You know how they like really boring side scroll looking thing.
Yeah.
Because the picture was really good. But anyway, that brings us to the end of this week's episode. Max.
Oh yeah, it's me, isn't it? Sorry about that.
Sorry.
This PlayStation conversation happens every Monday morning at 8 a.m. on podcast services, including Spotify, and 9 a.m. on the YouTubes. If you want to join that PlayStation conversation, head on over to our Facebook, Discord, Twitter, Instagram. All the links are in the description below.
If you want to join the conversation as it happens, head over to twitch.tv/thepopculturists, like a handful of people did today, like Mike, like Paul, like Buddy, a bunch of awesome people coming in and having a chat, and they can watch us record this show as it happens. If you want to support us in a more financial capacity, head over to patreon.com/thepopculturists. Support us any dollar value, no reward, just kindness of your hearts, I guess. If you want to support us in a more once-off style, head over to popculturists.com/shop. We can buy shirts and other assorted shit with our logos on it. And aside from streaming the podcast on Twitch, we do also play games. Thursday is our locked-in time. Thursday, 8 p.m. Australian time is a good place to go. If you do happen to listen to us on your podcast services, please give us like a 5-star rating, a review, all that sort of stuff as well. Be sure to check out our other shows, The Young and the Wrestlers, if you're a big wrestling fan. But that is the end of this PlayStation conversation. But until next week, I'm Ryan Betson.
I'm Max Cooper.
And that was For the Players. For the Players, the PopCulturists PlayStation podcast is fan-supported at patreon.com/thepopculturists. And we'd like to thank our Patreon producers and our Patreon founders for their kindness, their support, and their generosity. Our Patreon founders: Alpha Ferret, Craig O'Flaherty, David Chataway, Jesse Stevenson, and Jacob Garner. And our Patreon producers: AJ Abatomi, Damien Holdies, Kyle Dunn, Lee Wintershoven, Nathan Massetti, Paul James, Pure Mongrel, and Sean Levitt.